Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Girl Talk podcast, and welcome to Dani, creator of Ebonix. I always feel like I'm going to pronounce it slightly wrong. Like,
No, you got it.
yeah,
You got it. You got it. And it varies between accents. I
yeah.
feel like the Americans go Ebonix.
Ebonix.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of nice. Like it's kind of like a bit more bougie,
Yeah,
but
it's a
yeah.
little bit razzle dazzle.
So you're very much in the gaming world,
Yes,
like on
ma'am.
YouTube and across platforms, and I feel like it's so nice to have you on. Firstly, I'm really excited to talk to you about everything that you've been doing. Yeah, because I feel like you've been very innovative, very
Yeah.
creative, very inspiring. Not all of the gaming terminology I feel like I'll know if I'm to explain what you do or like what
Yeah,
you've
no, I'm
created.
absolutely, yeah. Happy to break it down because sometimes like,
Yeah.
even I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know,
Us.
child. All I
Yeah.
know is that I'm a mover, maker, culture shaker. That's,
Yeah, I love that.
if anything.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
always trying to find the right title for me, but I really feel
Mhm.
like where I'm such an enigma
Yeah.
in the gaming industry, it just feels right to just go whatever I feel like on the day. So
Yeah,
today
good.
we're a creative technologist.
Yes, I love that term as well. I love
Thank
that.
you. Kind of
Yeah.
discovered it not recently, but like within the last couple of years, I've started to lean
Mm.
more into it because I've been I started off as a 3D artist
Amazing.
and
Yeah.
content creator. Then I kind of like moved into like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, I feel like I'm more like a digital innovator and da. But I think when I think of like creative technology, it's essentially what I've done to
Mm.
find ways to present us better in
Yeah.
games and stuff. Because a lot of the tools and a lot of the tutorials, which there are none of and haven't been,
Mm-hmm.
haven't been any. I had to find really creative ways to, make black hair and everything
Yeah.
for games and to allow us to feel represented in the most
Which is
nuanced ways.
yeah, so important, and
Yeah.
they look amazing. Like
Thank
your
you.
designs, creations. I'm not sure how to
Yeah, all
term
of
it,
it. All of the
but
above.
yeah, amazing. And I wish I had more of that as well. Like when I was younger,
Growing up,
like
right? Yeah.
yeah. So how would you like explain Ebonix in a nutshell?
Oof, girl. How long do we have? um,
Or maybe like
so
how you feel it is at the moment, if that's a bit easier. Yeah,
do you know what?
yeah,
So yeah, I had to literally pitch myself yesterday for an
yeah.
interview. So I would say that Ebonix has transcended me being the kind of face of everything and
Mm.
Ebonix being more of a practice. So it's a kind of cultural, creative tech practice
Mm.
where I say we, because I'm manifesting that I'm going to have a team by the end of
Yes.
the year, manifesting, um, where we're just trying to redefine representation
Mm.
within, gaming, digital spaces, virtual worlds, so that everyone has a
Yeah,
meaningful, nuanced experience when it comes to seeing yourself in a
yeah.
digital sense. So I do a lot of like
Amazing.
consultation. So now I feel like I'm less of I'm a gamer.
Mm.
I'm a gamer, but I feel like when people put you in the box of a gamer,
Mm-hmm.
they really just kind of like think of you as, oh, like what you just
Mm.
stream or you just got the controller and you like, and
Yeah.
I'm really so much more than a gamer. I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
gaming industry,
Mm.
but Ebonix now navigates through the industry trying to just identify the issue, which is the lack of representation,
Mm.
and create the changes necessary, whether it's through education or actually creating assets.
Yeah. Amazing. And how long, I'm just wondering, like, how long ago did you begin doing that?
Happy
Or
10 years.
really?
Yes,
Yeah,
10
because
years of
it
Ebonix.
goes so quick.
Girl.
What? Doesn't it? And then you look
Girl.
in the mirror, you're like, oh,
Oh.
what happened? I haven't
Oh
left my
my
room for 10
word.
years.
I think
Yeah.
because I started planning a lot of stuff at the end of last year, but I think when I really tweaked, like, oh
Mm.
God, next year is 10 years.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Milestones.
my
Yeah.
word. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
we've really been in it 10 years and
Yeah.
I've been doing it full time since 2019.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing.
Definitely been
Yeah.
a journey,
Yeah.
journey. But and even one that I fell into as well, because I
Mm.
studied psychology and counseling
Ah,
at
yeah,
uni.
that's so interesting. I saw on your page, and
Yeah.
yeah, because I did psychology at A level, and that's
Oh,
something as
so yeah,
well that
same.
yeah I've always been really interested
Yeah,
in as
same.
well. So yeah, do you think that obviously played a part as well into how you think in some way?
I don't. Do you know what? I think there's elements to it.
Mm,
Yes, because so okay, I studied psychology and counseling. I went on
mm,
to teach children and young people with autism in a
yeah,
special school. And then following that, I had to leave because I got injured.
Yeah.
But even in that time, when I got injured, I was off work for 7 months. And it's kind of actually how I got into what I'm doing now.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I was kind of like, well, great, I'm off work. It's time for me to play Sims again.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly. Why
Not mad at it at all, despite waiting for knee surgery. I was back. I was like, yeah, cool, we back. I'm ready to play Sims.
I
And
love Sims. I need
was
to play.
girl,
Go on.
I'm thinking about it now. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I was off work for 7 months, fell into just creating mods, and like my first mod was a dashiki because I just wanted to tell like some really like black authentic stories through The Sims on Tumblr.
Yeah.
And this is like back
Oh my
2015, so
I
Tumblr
miss
was
Tumblr.
bussing. I know Tumblr was that girl. Still kind of
Yeah.
is for the Sims community, to be honest. But then when I left that school, I went on to work in Ealing Council as so it's called a SENDIAS service, which is the Special Educational Needs and Disabilities Information, Advice and Support.
Wow.
That was a
Yeah.
caseworker for Ealing. And that was really
Amazing.
just me trying to ensure that the young people with additional needs and disabilities were getting the right support in school. So I had that kind of background in additional needs, so it just kind of felt like a natural transition rather than working with the young people, which I couldn't physically do. I thought I could do something kind of more behind the scenes. And I think in that, I wanted to do an educational psychology doctorate. And that was just purely because I wanted to ensure that the young people who needed the support were getting the right support.
Yeah.
Didn't get onto the doctorate. I was like, okay, that sucks, but you know, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
But in that, I feel like the drive to ensure that there's an equal level of representation and need and right to feel seen and heard and have access to certain assets that allow us to be seen in games. That kind of, I feel, transferred from, you know, the additional needs and disabilities to the gaming and assets and everything that I'm doing now. So I feel like the ethos has never changed.
Yeah.
But it's always, it just completely, it just
in
goes with the
different
motions.
ways and everything. Yeah, no, that's amazing. Because that's what I was just gonna ask just before you ended. Is like, did you feel like you had that feel in you that more representation and awareness was needed even before? So it's like
Fully,
it's been there in
But
you.
the thing is,
That's
like, you don't
amazing.
really deep it because even you're growing up, and I know because I mean, I've been playing Sims basically my whole life. I'm just like, oh yeah, oh my god, when did I ever make Black Sims growing up? Because there wasn't anything really for us to create ourselves and it to feel natural. So even if I did have a Black Sim, they would have to have like blonde hair or like ginger hair because the black hair options, they just weren't giving. And you don't really realize how deeply that impacts you. And so this is kind of where the psychology comes into it, because it's like that kind of self-worth and self-love and all those little things with the things that you're consuming when you're younger have an impact on how you develop as an adult and how you see yourself and that self-love. And you know, I remember growing up and not necessarily really loving how my hair looked, so I just wanted it to be like straight, or wanted it to just not look like mine and not feel very proud about it. So, you know, you don't really deep how much those kind of things affect you growing up. So it means a lot to me now that there are, you know, young people who message me to this day who say, you know, I've been playing with your mod since I was in elementary school, high school, and knowing I was a part of like their formative years that I didn't have. Like for me, that's my mission, like complete, because I'm allowing them access to the best representation of themselves in the media that they love and they can consume. And it's meaningful and it's accurate and it looks like them and they have nothing to feel shame about.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you have any particular favorite designs or looks that you've created or mods or? Must have been so many.
Do you know what? I've made like well over like 200 over the last couple of years. Yeah. So
no, that's a bit of a
if anything, that's a lot. It's a lot. I think if anything, there's one look that I called the Monet bead braids. Where it's literally inspired by a girl that I saw on TikTok, and it's of braids in the middle, rolled up into buns, and it's got
Yeah, that
beads on the
sounds.
end of it.
Ooh, that sounds cute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'll send it to you so
yeah.
you can do like a little
Okay.
side by side comparison. But
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that one is
Hmm.
definitely a fave of mine because I kind of challenged myself a bit with that one,
Yeah.
and it turned out to be a community fave,
Mm.
and everywhere. Like anytime someone tags me or stuff, I'm always kind of
Mm.
thinking I already know what I'm going to see.
Yeah.
It's the bead braid hair.
It's her again.
But yeah, because
Yeah.
it was a nice challenge, and it's one that I also
Mm.
um took time to add those really like the wispies and the nuance,
Mm.
like all of those little nuances that a lot of our community would pay attention to, are
Yeah.
things is what they picked up on, which is what made me feel like
Yeah.
this is
Like, yeah, if you
exactly
see it,
why
you
I'm
get it.
doing what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Like these are the things that I know that they pay attention to and that they're missing.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, which is so missed, right?
yeah,
And not only just gaming, like in a lot of other,
across
yeah,
the
like
board,
yeah,
girl.
exactly. And how I'm really interested. How did you learn how to do what you do? Like, were you self-taught? Yeah, like how was that process? You
I
don't have
was
to give too
fully
many details.
self-taught. I'm fully self-taught.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Like
because
through online.
literally
Mm.
like YouTube. And the funniest thing with teaching yourself Blender is, especially when it comes to blackness, black hair,
Mm.
black game design, there are no tutorials really on it.
Really mad.
So everything that I've taught
Yeah,
myself is just knowledge that I've watched from something completely random
yeah.
that I've then just had to generalize to
Mm-hmm.
make sense. So I kind of call my knowledge as like
Mm.
a quilt, because I've just like pulled knowledge from like
Yeah.
every different part of YouTube to make it make sense to,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like have us show up as authentically as possible.
Yeah.
So and so now this is why I do a lot of
Mm-hmm.
workshops and consultations with game studios, because
Yeah.
when you really deep it as well, the issue is that there isn't that information even in the curriculum that they're studying at university when it comes to
Mm.
game design. Like
Mm.
we aren't even present in those aspects either. So when
Even
they,
now is what that's wild.
girl,
Like
when I
it,
said
right?
by the end of the
Yeah.
year, they're gonna be sick of me. Like the
Good.
whole industry is
Yeah.
gonna be sick of me, because I'm now
Mm.
like getting into challenging the actual root of the issue,
Yeah.
where one, we don't have enough black game designers,
Yeah.
but two,
Yeah.
the actual curriculum where they are being taught isn't catering to
Mm-hmm.
everyone. It's catering to a
Yeah.
very specific small demographic of gamers, whereas
Mm. Yeah.
there are a lot more of us who play games
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
than anyone else.
Exactly. And because I don't, like I said near the beginning, I'm not as much in the gaming world.
Yeah.
But I can imagine, what you're saying about how it must be like with the people who are creating the games and have the
Yeah.
more control. It's probably like, do you think it's quite clicky? Like it's hard
I break
to
into
know.
it. I
Yeah.
mean, the gaming industry in general
Mm.
is very cis white male centered.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. It is
I was like,
very
how do I put this?
it is
Yeah.
very, very centered
Mm.
on that very specific demographic. And to be fair, even now,
Mm.
when you think of gamer, you think of a very specific demographic.
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
it's been trying to challenge, and I've worked with a lot of brands on just breaking that stereotype and breaking that narrative of what a gamer is supposed to look like, right?
Yeah.
So it has been a challenge, obviously trying to get brands to open up their eyes to see,
Yeah.
this campaign that you're working on doesn't translate to the vast majority of gamers
Mm-hmm.
that are in this space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
feel like
tough.
yeah, I bet. Like I was just gonna
Yeah.
ask, do you feel like there's many other or have you come across many other people like you who are trying to do okay, well that's good.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's
Well,
good, it's
yeah, and I
like,
mean,
yeah,
it's a
over
small
time.
industry.
Yeah,
Absolutely, it's a very small
take time.
industry. So me and my
Yeah.
friend Cassie, we started
Mm.
a platform called Black Twitch UK,
Mm.
because we were just like, boom,
Yeah.
all of these campaigns that we're seeing on Twitch, we're not seeing any of us. And then
Yeah.
when we go to, call the brands out about it, or, ask them what's up, like what's going on, where,
Mm.
where are we? And so they're going to say, well, we couldn't find any,
No, that's such a bad excuse. Yeah.
and it's like, okay, all right. So then we
Yeah.
co-founded Black Twitch UK together, and we were just like, well, here's 35 to 50 Black streamers that you can have as part of your campaigns.
Yeah, no excuses.
You've got no excuses whatsoever. And then there's Black Girl Gamers as well. So they've founded in the UK by a good friend, Jayanne Lopez. And she's got a massive, started off as like a Facebook community, and they've kind of grown massively. And my friend Stephanie, who's the founder of Nay Saga as well. So she focuses a lot on entertainment, sports, and gaming as well. So there's a lot of us really trying, especially Black women in the space. Like, they really try and treat us as unicorns, but we are really out here doing the Lord's work, doing the hard work, in fact. And so
on top of just trying to enjoy what you do, just in itself,
exactly. So it's good to kind of have that network of others who are fighting the good fight, because sometimes you really just have to, girl. I am sick.
I've had enough.
I'm sick.
So I wanted to ask you as well, it kind of touches on that maybe a little bit, but what have been some of your biggest challenges that you've had to overcome, on the journey?
I think just visibility. On many platforms, especially in the gaming space, it is just visibility. You don't get to see us, especially Black women in the gaming space. It's like I said, they treat us like unicorns sometimes. So then when they do come across us, it's like, oh wow, we didn't know you. Yeah, we didn't know there's so many of you. Well, if you looked, we're not too hard to find. So it is kind of visibility, and when I think about platforms like live streaming platforms like Twitch and now YouTube, it's just when you go to a front page, you don't necessarily see. Well, to be fair, historically, you don't see us. We don't pop up as one of the first faces. We aren't some of the most watched people on the platform. So the challenge really has been just how do we get these kind of platforms to platform us meaningfully, and where it doesn't feel like it's for a token month. Happy Black History Month. Happy Women's History Month. Happy Pride Month.
And it's so obvious when that, when you see that. Wherever it is, it feels so forced, so
girl.
And then it's you never hear about that person again,
girl.
It's
I'm just please email me in another month, and then we'll talk. Message me in another month, and then we'll talk, because I'm just not. This isn't how I work. So back in the day, cool, cute. We're still finding our feet, but now please miss me with it. It really is. Very, very obvious. It's lazy. It's so lazy. And then even on the back of that is getting paid correctly, because a lot of us as well. The challenge is actually knowing how much to what's your rate. No one knows what their rate should be to start, and
I know
that conversation is so tricky to have with a brand when you actually don't know if you're charging too much or if you're lowballing yourself completely, because then
way undercharging, if and you're being taken the mickey out of.
Exactly. So
it's that is difficult. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Because it's relatable across the board. I think
absolutely.
For sure.
And I think especially in the UK as well, where we're so weird with talking about money here, aren't we? Compared to this, well, I can only imagine. In the States, it's a bit more normal to. They sort of say what they think a bit more in general as well.
Fully.
But about money here, it's very
maybe around that.
That's fine if not.
But
that needs to change. And fees and things need to be spoken about a lot more.
Absolutely.
Whether it's the brands or within the creators as well.
I think talk to each other. If there's anything that I can say today, is really talk to your other creative friends and just ask transparently, how much did you get paid for this? Because I'm trying to work with this brand and I want to know if I'm charging too much, if I'm undercharging. Because what you don't want to do is really set the next person that they work with up for failure. because then they think, oh, okay, yeah, well, we got this much out of this person, and then we're gonna pour the rest of our budget into, you know, other stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So and it starts this snowball effect. Yeah,
exactly.
The rest of
so then when
industry.
it comes to them, you know, pulling up to work with the brand, and they're like, they send you their budget, and you're like, Nani? What is that? What is that?
I don't know who this man is.
I do not know her. Hit the wrong email. I do not know her.
Twitch, you know, you've mentioned Twitch.
Yes.
I've never been on it. And
really?
like, why have I? And there's been so many people who have said like, I need to try it out,
Yeah.
Like, do you, like, I was gonna say, do you enjoy it? Obviously you must enjoy it. But how often are you on there? Like, how often are you streaming?
Now I'm not as much, because obviously I'm very much outside now. I'm very much touching grass. So I'm not on Twitch as much, but generally sometimes I just go on Twitch to just chat.
Yeah.
I just chit chat with my community. Sometimes I'll sit and chat for like an hour, 2 hours. Then we might play a game, and then we might watch something together. But I think Twitch for me is just community building.
Yeah. Do you know what? As you're saying that, it's making me think that of how YouTube used to feel a bit more. Obviously, it wasn't live in that. Well, you could do it live, but in that way where a lot of the time, I feel more so in the early days of YouTube, I'd feel like I'm just sat. Sorry.
Chatting with your community.
Yeah, you know, just chatting. Yeah, a bit more community.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's just a change of just a change of like how people consume media.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely feel like YouTube now is like you put that on in the background, you listen whilst you're doing something, and then Twitch, like, because it's live, it just kind of requires you to be like there in the moment,
more engaged.
Yes, exactly. Same with like TikTok live as well. So yeah, and I do like the live function because it just you literally do feel like you're just chatting with friends.
Yeah,
and I will say 100% that I took off a mask that I didn't realize I had on through streaming.
Oh really? Yeah.
Like I really came into like the most authentic version of myself because you're live.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't, unless you're really, really good at it.
Yeah.
You
like
can't
hiding.
lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you really can't hide many aspects of yourself.
Yeah. That must feel freeing.
Yeah.
How long do you think it took you to feel that way? Why, you know, was it like after one or was it after a few? You were like, actually, like this feels different. Like you feel different.
It was definitely a few. I think, to be fair, it was a few months, to be honest. Because I think I did a lot of streaming during lockdown as well.
Yeah.
So during lockdown, you know, there's a lot of people, everyone's at home.
Yeah.
We ain't got nothing else to do. So
just dancing
so we
and
are
sitting.
All, literally, we are all at home together.
Yeah.
And that kind of very kind of open and
it's quite vulnerable as well, isn't it? Like authentic, vulnerable,
very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Oh, so I got so snotty so many times live. I cried so many times live, literally, because sometimes you just go in there, you're just not feeling great.
Yeah.
But then these are you realize that these are your people, so you just start talking about, you know, what you've got going on,
and it flows.
It just flows, and then everyone starts sharing, and it becomes quite therapeutic.
That sounds nice. Why haven't I done that for so long? I've been so scared of live for so long, you know. I feel like first 5 years of like being online, sometimes I go on them, and then I got so scared of like saying something wrong.
Well, that's that, and that's how they get you. I think that's how social media and everything gets you, because you feel like you have to show up perfectly or show up like without fault, but you're human. And you actually have fault. Yeah. And you have to be able to also, if you do have fault, you have to also then be able to hold yourself accountable. And then if you do have a community who, you know, appreciates you, respects you, and have them hold you accountable, then you can work through that as well, because that happens. Yeah. And you have to really...
It's natural, isn't it?
Just kind of like let yourself be human and know that you're not going to get it right 100% of the time. Yeah. Because everyone's scared of cancel culture. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Everyone is scared of cancel culture. Yeah.
And I feel like maybe now I'm not as scared as I used to be, I don't know, 5 to 10 years ago. But that feeling that I had then is just like lingered. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
That's understandable though.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. It is scary, because like I said, that's what I'm saying. Like the mask I didn't really realize I had on, which was the mask of just being like, I have to show up as a certain type of way. could literally feel it melting away. Like the more I streamed, the more I just was able to show up as my most authentic self. And even like in rooms where I'm like with people, big CEOs, and I'm not changing who I am as a person to appease. I'm in this room for a reason.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it into this room if I had not been myself. So
No,
I owe it to myself to just literally continue to show up as my most authentic self, because then they know what they're getting.
Yeah. That is like amazing to hear as someone who like, I used to have a lot of social anxiety and like I've been on quite a few panels and things like, you know, over the years. But I get so
anxious,
like,
nervous.
you know, that feeling of like, it's like imposter syndrome probably, you know? Like, why am I here when like they're there?
Oh,
and
girl.
So yeah, no, but that's amazing
Been
to
there.
hear, you know, because it's true.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be in those spaces, would you, if like you weren't meant to be there? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so just you have it's a lot of self work and a lot of like talking yourself down from the heights of oh my god, I don't want to say anything crazy, I don't want to do I'm in this room with this person, why am I here? Remember, I'm that girl.
Yeah,
I'm here for a reason.
You were gaming with Megan Thee Stallion not long ago, right? How was that? I love your nails, by the way.
Thank you.
They're really nice. I like that. I need to get mine done.
Vibes. Oh my word. So yeah, I'm still, I feel like semi jet lagged from being in Texas, which is where we did live stream. So we was at DreamCon, which is a convention that was founded by RDC World. And then they just literally pulled together as many Black people together to celebrate Black nerdy culture, pop culture, gaming, comics,
Yeah.
And I flew out there with The Sims and EA for Sim Your Summer.
Yeah, amazing.
And, you know, they were dropping hints that there was going to be a Megan stream. So, you know, the lot of us that were like, the Hardy stream, And so when I saw that before I flew out, I wrote this down and I was manifesting.
Yeah.
I manifested harder than I've ever manifested in my life. I said, in any shape, form, or capacity, I am going to meet Megan.
Yeah.
I don't care how it happens. I'm going to meet Megan. And I went out there with that vindication that it was going to happen. There was no chance it was not going to happen. I was going to make it happen. And then the day of the stream, the simmers who were flown out were told that we were going to have an opportunity to be in the room whilst the live stream was happening.
Yeah. Yes. That's what I thought.
That's what I thought. Manifested. And then only to find out about maybe a couple of hours after, so we wanted you to be our special guest.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah.
Okay, I manifested too hard.
Oops. Yeah.
Was not expecting this, but yeah,
that's
like
amazing.
my God, it was so it was very surreal. But it was one of them ones where you had to swallow every nerve that was trying to like shake up your throat, make your mouth dry, make your legs weak, and channel it into we're just here to
doing what you're doing. Yeah,
we're here to have fun playing Sims. So it was
Yeah.
Meg and Quen Blackwell, and we turned up and we had a great time. And
it was fun to watch as well.
Yeah,
it was
just
funny.
It was just
it's like you're hanging. It's like you're, you know, while watching. It's like you're hanging with you guys and
hanging out with the
it
girls.
was chilled as well. Yeah.
And that's how we used to play Sims back in the day anyway.
Yeah,
like me and my little cousins, just all three of us. Yeah, we just be at the computer.
Yeah.
Hit that one.
So I used to, like, I really need to play it again, you know, because I love it. And I keep saying this to myself, actually, like over time, you know, because I used to play it all the time.
Yeah,
me and my cousin, and literally like all night. And sometimes I would just like, I don't think I had a computer at that time. So I would use hers, like when I was at her house. And then literally when she'd go to sleep and I'd still be up.
That was me on my dad's computer. Like it's literally the reason. So he bought me my first custom built PC. But this is like back in 2001, 2002. Because I kept putting viruses on his phone.
Me too, it's fine. I'd put a virus and then go to school and then like forget about it for a bit and then be like, oh. Yeah.
He was like, you're done putting viruses on mine. Here's your own. And then, you couldn't get me off of The Sims for anything. And thank God, like back in the day, we didn't need the internet to play games.
Yeah.
Because it was just non-stop.
Just separate, a whole separate thing.
Hours summer holidays,
Mm.
bank holidays, half terms. I'm playing Sims.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
playing my
locked away.
games. Yeah.
And so happily as well. I was so happy. I didn't have to talk to anyone, you know. You
And I'm
just
an only child too. So
do.
for me, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm tunnel vision. Like
Yeah.
nobody can talk to me. Once the
Mhm.
game is on, mum's gone to work. Oh yeah, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm gone.
What character trait do you think that you have that has kind of like propelled you through everything that you do, or like is
Um,
uniquely
I feel
your
like my
strength?
mantra
Mm.
is being delulu until it's trillulu.
I love that.
So it kind
Yeah.
of it leans into
Until literally, did you
manifestation,
say?
but
Yeah.
literally I
Sorry.
tell myself there's no other which way that this
Yeah.
is gonna go.
Yeah.
So even if it diverts from my original plan of it happening,
Mm.
I've already convinced myself that
Mm.
the end goal is already
No,
predetermined.
you're good at manifesting. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So
You
it's
know,
just
because the way you articulate it is very good. Like, I
yeah.
kind of do try to no, I do manifest as well, not try. But I don't know, sometimes I'm a bit like,
Do
am
you
I
wait for it
doing
to happen?
it?
Yeah, nah, girl, you gotta put the
Mm.
work in. I think
Yeah.
manifestation is a balance
Yeah.
of it's already happened and the
Mm-hmm.
putting the work into it as well. So
Yeah.
in manifesting, you have to like one, tell yourself it's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and then move in that way that it's
Yeah.
already happened. Like you're moving towards what's already what
Mm-hmm.
you're manifesting, right? So
Yeah. Is it
yeah.
like inspired action or something? It's like a thing. I don't know. That's something else.
No, that but to be fair,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
like
sounds
it's
nice.
inspired action because I'm acting on
Yeah.
what I'm
What?
inspired to get to. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You got it, girl. You got it.
So, as a tech lover as well,
Yeah.
like, do you have any, maybe either now or back when you were first starting, do you have any particular products or items or programs
Yes.
that you
To be
prefer?
fair, my iPad, when I got an iPad, it literally
Mm.
changed the game for me. Um, and when they added in the 3D like modeling update into Procreate, you know what? I brought my iPad with me. So I could
Oh
actually show
yeah,
you. So I
amazing.
could show you my
Yeah,
work like in real.
I was literally just gonna say like, oh, how does that work?
Yeah,
You know?
in real
Yeah.
time. I got
Okay, this is amazing.
you. But yeah, honestly, it just completely changed the game for me because
I love the iPad. Indie steals mine most of the time, to be fair.
yeah, no,
My
it's
little one.
a game changer.
Oh,
So it doesn't look like much, but this is kind of like an
no, yeah.
airbase of wave.
No,
And
it does look like much though. You can see the detail.
the,
You know what I mean? Yeah.
the grain,
Wow.
everything.
That's amazing.
So the iPad for me, just
Yeah.
accessibility wise, and then just being able to add those really, really like
Mm.
finite details that what make
Yeah.
us us,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't get to see these in games.
Yeah.
So it was important for me
Mm-hmm.
to like once I was able to discover this function,
Yeah.
that I could add all of these additional like really meaningful things that a lot of people notice
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and want
I
in
need to
games.
see.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Amazing.
it's yeah, it just completely changed. And it's nice as well that young people
Mm.
are trying to get into creative tech. Like if I think they have like student discounts as well on Apple
Yeah.
products. So I think yeah, like that
Oh, that's
accessibility in
so,
itself.
yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
Refurbished, so obviously you don't want to buy anything new. You get the refurbished products cheaper, and it's like that kind of thing
Yeah.
helps change how people access
Exactly.
meaningful kind of like nuanced details that we're
Yeah.
missing out on. And so yeah,
Yeah.
Procreate, Blender as well. So Blender is what I use on to actually do like the 3D models.
Mm.
So when I'm like at PC and I'm like spending hours like forming like the braids and the curls and the locks and the froze and all those things, and what's great is it's a free program as well.
Oh, amazing.
So you're not
Yeah.
paying anything additional. It is just you're
Yeah.
just spending the time learning and figuring out how you can make the tech work for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely my iPad, Procreate,
Hey.
and Blender are massive game changers.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that I could recommend to anyone wanting to get into creative tech, is just exploring those options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what can the time ranges be like in a creation of yours? I'm really interested. She's like,
Girl.
yeah.
Do you know what's mad? Sometimes a particular hairstyle could take me about a week.
Wow.
Some could take me a week. I think one that was really, really challenging that I kind of had to stop and start a lot because again, a lot of the tech and the workflows that I have and do now are things I had to teach myself because the tutorials weren't there.
Yeah.
So it was kind of trial and error figuring out. But in that figuring out, it would take sometimes 2 weeks to figure out how to make sense of something. So yeah,
that's amazing.
something could go from 2 weeks to just a couple days, couple hours. Yeah. So it really depends on the complexity and if I'm trying something new. So that's definitely going to take a lot more time if I'm trying to teach myself something new or just trying to play around with stuff. But I think it's also good to get things wrong because in that,
you can lead you on a slightly different path. You can learn something new, and it's part of the creative process, isn't it? Yeah.
And sometimes I have to go sleep. Sometimes I really have to go sleep, and then I'll wake up I'll kind of rise like Dracula at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, aha. That's how I was supposed to do that, and I'll have to hop on the PC quickly, just do the thing so that it's out of my head and I've actioned it, so that I don't forget what I've just arose from my dream state. I have to action this thing now because if I don't, it's not happened. I'm gonna forget in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely have to sleep.
Works. Do you think you've always been a creative sort of person since young?
Yeah. Always. Even just because I still, even now, I'm very I say craft. I'm quite crafty.
Yeah.
And just my mum used to buy me this magazine from the works, and it was a weekly thing where they would give you watercolors and different types of paint and clay, and I've always been very much a creative. My dad's a creative as well. My mum's a creative, but written more written poetry and stuff like that. My dad is
you got a lot of it going on.
Yeah. And my uncle's a game developer as well, so kind of gaming, art, and all that kind of creative stuff has been in my realm.
That's so nice to have those different, influences around.
Really. Because it just inspired me a lot as well. And I think what was really helpful is that my mum wasn't necessarily the gamer, but both my mum and dad never shied away from allowing me to get into gaming or explore my love of games. Whereas I know a lot of, growing up, a lot of parents, especially in our day, is can you get off the game? Go and do your
but quite judgmental or thinking, it's a waste of time.
Exactly. So,
it's nice to have that freedom.
If not for them, just feeding that passion and feeding my interests in gaming, I was I would not be here today.
Yeah,
so I'm very, very grateful for them. So any parents watching, please.
Let them do their thing.
Just let them do their thing. And gaming is truly not a waste of time. Because I think as well, gaming doesn't have to just be the act of gaming. The creation of games. If you like storytelling, if you like reading, you can be a narrative designer. If you like music, you can create some music for games. If you like the coding element, you can design the actual components for game. But there are so many ways that you can get into gaming that don't necessarily mean that you're just sat in front of the game. You're exposing yourself. So one of the campaigns that won a yellow pencil at the D&AD Awards that I just judged on was called the Tactician. So there's a game called Football Manager.
Oh yeah.
And you are
I remember this game.
Yeah. You are literally just it's like fantasy football. You're just placing people. You're da-da-da-da-da. But the beauty of that campaign was that the Bromley FC were looking for someone to help them get better, basically, at the game, right? And to really help strategize and all of that. So they partnered with Xbox to find the next tactician through Football Manager.
Yeah.
And so that really helped to highlight playing a game actually helped develop so many people's strategy skills, being tactical, how to placement, player placement, all of these kind of things. It's not a waste of time. It really is developing your critical thinking skills. And I think the more ways that we approach like that mindset of what gaming can look like for people, then it becomes less taboo and less like stigmatized.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
It's very interesting. I love when you were talking about the different aspects that go, the different job roles that can go, because it's like you do forget that, don't you? And especially for me, so I used to game a lot more. And I don't know, I think do you know what? I think probably when I started doing YouTube, I sort of fell off of that side a bit more. But I've always loved gaming. My first job was in game.
Shut up.
And I was like the little nerd girl.
Perfect first job ever.
I know.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous. Mine was Clinton's. I am so
Can't win them all. Yeah. But no, like do you know what? Even though and it was a really small one as well. So like, it wasn't like there wasn't the most going on in that shop, but I have really fond memories of it all being game related. But what was I saying? I've lost.
I know ADHD. Oh girl.
Yeah.
So the different like ways you can get into gaming.
Yeah. It is it's nice for maybe watchers as well, or listeners.
Yes.
Thinking about. That's why it's so nice having you on as well, because could be inspiring for girls or women who are interested in getting into any like aspect of gaming.
Absolutely. Yeah. Honestly, there's so many ways that, and a lot of young people especially don't know that they can get into the industry.
Yeah.
So I was really fortunate. I reached out to my secondary school last year. I was just like, I just want to come and talk to them about games and how amazing it is and how they can get into it, and how they don't necessarily have to feel like they need to know what they want to do right now. But if they have an interest in something, how they can apply that to maybe something in the industry later, if they like games, if they like art, if they like computer science, if they like, if you can actually do like physical stuff that's still applicable to games, because some people like stop motion or stop animation type of stuff, and a lot of people like mocap, which is now like the motion capture and all. So there's so many ways that people can get into gaming now. So it's just being the exposure is what's important and what's missing. So the more exposure to that kind of thing, then the better.
Yeah. I was going to leave to the end, but they're making a Sims movie, right?
I've already told them, look, if I am not in that movie,
yes,
I will be dag.
Yeah.
I will be Schneiden. I will find ways to cuss everybody out in Simlish.
Yeah.
It just can go any way.
Yeah.
It can go anywhere.
So, and there's such a big lore, right, to Sims. So like it's something, I don't know too much about, but I just remember like the beginning of it, I guess, from when I used to game. But
there's I guess the biggest lore I think would be like the Goth family. So Bella Goth is obviously like the woman in the red dress that disappears through alien abduction. So that's like Sims 2. And then you've got the newbies. So Bob and I forget her name. I forget, but that's in The Sims 1. But the Goth family for sure, because they've been throughout, like from original Sims to Sims 4 now.
Yeah.
So I just
wonder how. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
The lore is so deep. It is so deep. I'm very excited because it can just go any which way.
What's your favorite part about what you do, if you have one?
Oh, I have so many. I guess. Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's one of the best things about what I do is knowing that I've had an impact on young people growing up.
Yeah.
And how they see themselves, but also how they can play their games. Because you just, it's a medium and media that is still new, but that a lot of us have spent a lot of time on growing up.
Yeah.
So if I've had a positive impact, which I know I have because they let me know, I think for me, just even hearing that, because what was really nice, even like the Megan stream for me.
Yeah, like top, yeah.
But it was also what made it even sweeter was the community's comments on that stream, which was, nah, Ebonix deserves this. Ebonix has like changed the game for me. So to see how she's transcended from, being the modder and giving me the options to see ourselves to actually showing, yes, hotties do play The Sims.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing for me has transcended like all possibility, like what I ever possibly could have thought this journey would turn into.
Yeah. naturally as well, which is amazing.
Like it just hasn't,
Uh-huh.
it hasn't felt hard.
Yeah,
Everything has really
that's
just
good.
fallen in.
Yeah.
Once I started doing this full time, and just because I said to myself, I'm going to give myself 1 year. In 2019, I said to I remember going to my mum, I was like, Mum, I've got an opportunity to do something very niche. I'm going to give it a go. Obviously, I'm not unemployable. I've got my degree. I've got experience, so work experience. So I'm not unemployable, but I need to give myself a year to really see how far I can take this. And if after a year it don't work out, cool. But that's when being Delulu until it's Trululu really started to kick in, because I was like, this has to work out, because I am not going back to the job. I am not going back. And I haven't looked back. So yeah, it's just, I've loved this journey. It's just been crazy, incredible, but also very
and so deserved.
enlightening.
Sorry.
No, thank you. No, it's just, it's again, transcended any possible multiverse outcomes that I ever could have imagined. And I felt I feel like my Spider-Verse fans will know this. I felt all of my canon moments happened in the last 6 years.
Yeah, you've made and are making still such a big impact, which is amazing. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having
and
me.
sharing
I really
everything.
appreciate you.
I'm gonna link all of her links for where to find Dani. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for
it's been really
me,
fun.
No, honestly, I'm gagged. If you ever want any, listen.
Thank you.
I even brought my
Let's see.
DS.
Oh my god, I love that.
So when you want a little gaming session, I mean, I know the Nintendo Switch 2 just came out, but when you're ready for a new, I'm old school girl, okay? Because this DS,
I love those.
My DS has taken me places, okay? It has taken me places. So when you're ready for a gaming session, you want to get back into Sims, and you want to get all the mods, okay, all of the good mods. Because the way that these were frying me on that Megan stream, like, where is the CC? This isn't my computer, okay? This is the good people EA's computer. So when you're ready for some mods and you want to turn off in the Sims, come find me. Girl, I got you.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
Bye.